IGCSE Business Studies Paper 2 Part A, 8-mark questions, 2 new variants for Cambridge international students to master. November 2020 IGCSE Business Studies Past Paper 2 is now available. What did we discover which will help you to better prepare for your IGCSE Business Studies exam? The Cambridge IGCSE syllabus was updated in 2020. So far, we have seen past papers from March 2020 and June 2020, so you'd think there'd be no further surprises. But, well, we did find some variations of questions in November 2020. We will analyse the top mark strategy for these new A-type questions to make sure that you are prepared for your upcoming IGCSE Business Studies exam in 2021 or beyond. Cambridge Business Essentials is all about improving your grades in IGCSE Business, specifically for Cambridge International. If it's your first time here, please subscribe to stay updated with the latest tutorials in Cambridge International Business. Even better, you can find all of the different types of question and the A-star technique to score top marks at caiebbusiness.com. Just click on the link to go straight there. So let's get into it. A bit of context here if it's your first time watching. IGCSE Business Studies Paper 2 is 80 marks with 4 8-mark A questions and 4 12-mark B questions. The good news is that B 12-mark questions are pretty standard. B questions make up 60% of Paper 2 and the structure is fairly consistent. You're asked to look at different options for the business in the case study and reach a reasoned recommendation. You can find a dedicated guide to 12-mark questions on this channel and multiple examples of 12-mark questions in each topic at caiebbusiness.com. It's the A questions that keep changing. Before November 2020, we had already seen the 2-part A question, the 4-part A question with analysis, and the 4-part A question with application. But just when we thought there couldn't be any more variants, well, there's 2 more in November 2020.
Houston, we have a problem.
We discovered the first question format change in Paper 21. Often calculations are part of longer 12-mark questions where you're asked to evaluate the results. But they can come up in 8-mark questions too. In 4A, you're asked to calculate 4 ratios with 2 marks for each ratio that you calculate correctly. Or so it may seem. But when you look closely at the question, it states, show your working. This means to secure the marks, you have to show how you calculated the answer or write down the correct formula. Because I personally like to play it safe, I'd advise writing down the formula, working, and of course the correct answer. You may actually find this A calculation question type an advantage as it means the calculations are done for this paper. That means there's no further 12-mark question where you have to do all the calculations anyway and then make an evaluative comment like in Paper 23. You can find detailed guides and a specific course just on calculation questions in IGCSE Business Studies at caiebbusiness.com. The next slight change to A question type was in Paper 21. Previously, 2-part questions always required a reference to the case study or application. However, in this question, there is no reference to the case study in the question, what Cambridge calls a generic question, so there are no application points available. There is 1 mark available for a relevant reason why profitability or liquidity is important, and then 3 marks for explanations. 1 mark for each explanation. So, a knowledge point to start, liquidity is a measure of cash flow, and then explain, to show if the company can pay its short-term debts. Then an explanation of why it is important. If it runs out of cash, a business may be forced to sell its assets. And a further explanation to secure all the marks. This means the business will cease trading and go bankrupt. Follow the same structure in the second section for profitability. You can find more detailed step-by-step guides to every question on Paper 1 and Paper 2 at caiebbusiness.com. And of course, everything you need to know about ratios, profitability and liquidity. So we have crushed the new Paper 2 variants. Remember to subscribe to stay updated for all the new developments in future papers at IGCSE and A-Level to ensure you go into the exam ready for anything that the examiner will throw at you. And if you really want to take your learning to the next level, click here to find interactive courses and resources to take you to the top in Cambridge Business. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.